Reflection crack mirrors, minds made feeble, dreams crumble, the curse triple. Thieves in the temple, raise your mental beyond the four devils, you whack motherfuckers. Yeah, hip hop, that's why hip hop there now, motherfuckers. Yeah, yeah, that's to all the cool niggas out there. All right, we back once again. We in the building, y'all. Y'all know what's going on. We getting ready to get it in. It's the State of the Union from a metaphysical perspective, and we got the God, Sifu Master Elohee. All right, Qigong practitioner, Tai Chi practitioner, Shaolin Kung Fu master, and he's coming in the building. All right, we're getting ready to bring it to you hard and heavy. I mean, hard and heavy for real. All right, so just sit back and relax and listen to the knowledge that the God is going to be spitting. All right, so just give us a little second or two. You know how we do. We got to get everything right for you. All right. As y'all see, I'm in a rhyming mode. All right. So, yeah, that was our song. All right. That was me and the God, Dub MC, Double MC, as he's called. You know what I'm saying? Michael Wortham, producer of that track, as well as also the one who was on the track. That's me on the last portion of it. Peace, Goddess. Akasha, peace to everyone in the room. Peace, y'all. Appreciate y'all coming in, checking the God out. And like I said, we will be having on Sifu Elohee. He will be in the building. You just wait for him to
peace, God.
Come on in.
Peace. Everyone can hear me.
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
True. Well, right now I am attempting to get on YouTube Live. It doesn't seem to be wanting to access that application. So,
that's okay, God. When you come, we'll show you. Okay, when you come through,
right.
And we'll probably do another one with you.
Okay.
Yeah. We gonna get you
some
right.
Qigong or something together on the next one.
So I guess if it's straight with y'all, I won't go in on the live aspect. I just go ahead and kick it from here, right here where we at.
Yeah.
We excited. You talking about you done found all this. You done put all these pieces together. We excited, guys.
Yeah. Kick that knowledge, baby, Paul.
True indeed. So it's very well to hear me and everything straight with at least with the audio. I just go from there as far as the visuals is concerned. What they say, perfect plan prevents poor performance. You can plan the plan, but you can't predict the outcome. So, we're going to do it as it is and just keep it moving.
I say.
Peace,
y'all. Peace.
Peace, fam. Peace. All right. They ready for you, Ak, whenever you ready to get in. Peace and bliss.
All right, that's what it is. I'm gonna start it off. First of all, I would say I watch the Tashi.
Hey, watch Toish. All right. And for those that don't know, that is the greeting.
Thanks to those who came before and those who will come after. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna run through the whole salute. Like you recall the salute. I know. I will be honest to myself and others at all times. I will seek humility in all thoughts, words, and deeds. I will honor those that have come before me and those that will come after. I will be patient and put the needs of others before my own. And I will seek sincerity, for my only fear will be the lack of sincerity.
Indeed.
I almost agree with all of that, almost. I'm not putting people's needs in front of mine no more, though. I used to. But everything else was on point, God.
That's what it is. You got 4 out of 5. So
yeah, I got 4 out of 5.
You got an A clip. You still got an A.
Yeah.
You know it.
So, I still got an
A. Maybe a B plus.
No, I got an A. Peace, y'all.
Peace,
Go ahead,
peace.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, yeah. Everybody said they can hear you. Why?
Okay, good.
Yeah. I'm going to start it off with, first of all, I say this a lot. It's one of my common expressions. I guess say is hearing is believing, seeing is knowing, experiencing is becoming, and experiencing is being. You know, I broke it down a few times before. You know, we can hear all types of stuff, but the old saying is believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. So basically, you know, most things that we hear, if it's not accessed properly and formulated into our experience by application, it can be just here. You know, so and seeing is knowing. So when we see something, we know it to be true from our physical observation with the two eyes. That's physical representation. But then when we experience it and we start becoming, we can apply where it could be the metaphysical application of the mind's eye, applying the information that we have heard and seen to our actual experience ourselves. You know, say for instance, if someone told me someone told me they won the lottery versus me actually winning the lottery or something like that. Mm-hmm. You know, so the experience is becoming the one who actually had the ticket or whatever and won the lottery versus I'm hearing about somebody winning this lottery and whatnot. So experiencing is being, that's being. It's like it's second nature, it's a reflex. A part of us is innate and it's inherent, you know what I'm saying? But then it's always reflective or almost like a reflex that will never go away. It's always going to be there. That's mine. All right, so the State of the Union being the title that I've placed upon this is due to, I guess, because tonight, you know, it's the State of the Union address. I didn't know until what I was going to speak on. The sister asked me, what's your topic? I just brainstormed for a few seconds. I was like, dang, I don't really have nothing like that brand new to talk about, but I floated by the TV screen in my mom's little living room with my grandma where they sit, watch TV through the day. Early that day, I recalled that it was going to be a State of the Union address for some other matters that's going on. So I was like, okay, State of the Union, that's a good title. Physically, that's what's taking place tonight, or as far as Trump doing some State of the Union. Metaphysically, what's going on tonight is we're going to break down what the State of the Union is from an intuitive, intellectual, and higher intelligence point of view or perspective. So to get it started, I'm just going to start out with the word State of the Union. All right, so we got a state, meaning circumstances, position in society, temporary attributes of a person or thing, conditions of a being. Say, for instance, at the end of the word, you have the word is attention, like I say attention. But attention is the state of someone being in an alert state. So Shin or Tion means the state of, but basically the condition of or the state of something. You know what I'm saying? So the condition of position, place, the way of standing, a posture. It also means from a mental point of view, it is the mind state or the emotional state or the emotional condition. So it could be used in that type of sentence or that type of structure as well. So the mind state, the emotional state. So this is state, in position or the condition of. All right. So it started out as a being in political organization of a country back in the 1300s. So we're going to utilize it as far as physically. We're going to utilize state as meaning a condition. Then we have union, the act of joining one thing to another. Also, it means this etymology. It also means agreement or the accord, or this is also the definitive of it. It means the state of matrimony or marriage, which is where we get to merge from the word. Well, actually, merge is how we derive the word marriage. So when two things are formed together or posed together, they merge. Right. So that's union. So the condition of merging, the condition of yoking as well as we look at it in the sense of yoga or fusing something together, because yoga means to yoke. Also, semi-twai, the S-M-A-I of the word semi-twai, meaning to unite. So we have a unification. In Old Latin, we have the word unus, which also means a single pearl or onion. So if you look at the word onion and you look at the word union, they are very phonetically close, as well as by sight. You see that onion and union are almost the same words, but in Old Latin, the word unus also meant onion, a single pearl. What does an onion have? It has many layers. So you can peel one layer, then it has another layer, then you peel another, then you have another. So the aspect of putting something back together, it will be a puzzle, such as an onion, that you have to go through each layer to pretty much capitalize on the truth of what it is in the center, which will be that seed thought, or the essence, you know what I'm saying, that unseen essence, that immaterial, that metaphysical side of the physical layers of the onion, or that unification, that union. So state of the union would be the condition of unification, or basically the condition of joining one thing to another, or merging one thing to another. In our ancient world, even to this day, in mystery systems, they call this action or this scenario helios gamos. We make sacred marriage in Latin. So this sacred marriage, or heliogamy, refers to the merging of a god and goddess in their earthly representatives. And I can't even say the word representatives, meaning like a high priest or high priest.
Right. We got you.
Yeah. So when those two aspects they have a symbolic meaning related to fertility. Generally, it's in springtime. So February, being the time of the year that we are in, is the last month of winter, going into March, which will be next month, which goes into spring.
I don't know what you're talking about. It was 75 degrees today. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. It was 75 degrees today, bro.
Word, yo.
Exactly.
Spring already started.
It also relates to that. So this being Tuesday, the day of the 5th, the 5th day of February, Tuesday relates to Mars. Mars is fire energy, or heart energy as well, or Haru, light. So when we're dealing with this day, and it coincides with also from the 2nd of February, I'm going ahead of myself, but the 2nd of February was Candlemas, also represented with Candlemas, which is a holiday or so-called ritual aspect of some of the transitionary times within the astrology, as well as how we play different inside of the spectrum of our reality. And it's ritualistic. Some of it is knowing, some of it is not. But in this aspect, Candlemas is a feast of candles, or a festival of candles, you know what I'm saying? So they light all these candles up and all this and celebrate, which is a Christian holiday. Basically, they will celebrate marriage purification. So purification is the same word as February, is where we get the word February from.
Right.
It's purification. So in the purification rite of February, we look at the word union. So we go back to union, and the first two letters of that word is UN.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that equals, as far as the geometry, that's 3 and 5 is 8. But when you add all up together, you have 8. And what we're doing with geometry, so every letter has a weight that is expressed with a mathematical expression. You know what I'm saying? So U, 21, 3, N is 14, 5, I is 9. The 0 is 14, 5, and it's actually 15, 6, and N is 14, 5. So ON is 2, 2 plus 9 that's 2, because 11 is 2, and then 2 plus 8 is 1. But you have 28 union. And in this month of February, how many days are there? 28. So that goes back to, you know what I'm saying, 1. You know what I'm saying? So that's that unification of sides, 14 being split on what we would call the 14 pieces of physical representation of Osiris, and the 14 pieces of the metaphysical representation, the unseen, immaterial side of Osiris. So when the connection of that lower and high state takes place, that's that state of the union. Now, I mean, I got a few things to go into, so I'm just starting to break it into the ice right now. But so the Helios Gamios is that sacred marriage. That's the Demetwai. That's the unification of both realms. And it's like I was saying, traditionally it was performed in agricultural society to bring about fertility and help with the oncoming March, whatever, when we would actually have fruition from the things that we were planting, the seeds that we were planting back in November, or throughout that transition from autumn into where the sun sits still, the solstice, into the spring equinox, or when the night and night and day is equal. So now to speak on what's going on tonight is inside of this physical aspect of State of the Union. What's taking place is that Donald Trump is going to be addressing America, and then after that, this lady, the guy, Stacey Abrams, is going to be addressing America with the rebuttal. So to break down on these names, okay, let's look at Donald Trump. Donald, he's the 45th president of the, so-called United States, you know what I mean? This physical side, you know what I'm saying? So let's look at it, what his name means, you know what I'm saying? So Donald, I ain't no political person. This is all notes that I done gathered together the last 3 days, just putting things together. And I'm like, whoa, what the heck? But anyway, Donald, Scottish Donald, D-O-F-N-A-L-D, from Gaelic Domhnall, or Domhnall, Gaelic from D-O-M-H-N-A-L-L.
Right.
Get thanks, pronounced Domhnall. So Domhnall is from Proto-Celtic, Dubno and Valo. Dubno means world. Valos means ruler. You know what I'm saying? It is from the Proto-Indo-European root wall, to be strong. All right, so that's ruler of the world. Donald means ruler of the world. But let's look at his last name, Trump. Trump means it's also a playing card suit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The alteration of triumph. So Trump
type.
is a card suit, playing trumps, you know what I'm saying? But it also means deceive or cheat. To deceive or cheat, right? So you have the word Trump meaning to deceive, and then you have Donald meaning the ruler of the world. So the ruler of the world that deceives, who do we know as the deceiver in one of our religious texts? The deceiver of the world.
The devil.
Satan, right? As far as like in biblical terms of a religion, in the religion avenue, most people in Revelations, they see that it says the deceiver of the world is Satan or whatever, right? The devil.
It's the devil.
All right, but right, you know what I'm saying? I
got to put the North Carolina on it.
But this word, what is it? Not Trump, but the word Daoud from Donald also means deep hollow or bottom. So it's also talking about the earth, or the deep hollow space within earth, the hollow earth, you know what I'm saying? But basically, when we look into the Kabbalistic or the tree of life, also that is related to the Patum Natir, which means the cake of the divine, or the ingredients of the divine. Patum Natir is Meta Netter, tree of life. Meta Netter expresses it as give, or Osiris will, but give. This is not proof, which means that, the foundation, but the manifestation of the material world, the kingdom. So the earth in Meta Netter. So this Donald is the so-called ruler, the deceiving ruler of the earth. You know what I'm saying? In that aspect, ain't the, you know what I'm saying, it look like the deceiver of the world in that aspect. If you're really looking at things right now, as far as the media is concerned, maniac in, you know, European devils in America, how some of the things that are taking place is just playing out games and stuff like that. Ain't no truth. I don't really know the whole schematic stuff, but I noticed these dates, and I noticed that we're going to get into some significant dates, if you will, in a few minutes. But if we're looking at, like, you know, this dude is really the president, and in that sense, physically, externally, then we have lost touch of our sovereignty or whatever. And I know as more as we know better, so, you know, that's why I ain't going to put too much emphasis on that. But so the name Donald Trump means the deceiver of the world. So, you know, if it walks like a duck, talk like a duck, it must be a Donald, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's the deceiver of the world. So, but we're going to have a little fun. I'm trying to say, you know, it's going to be interesting, because when I started breaking it up and down and inside and out, I'm like, wow, all this really correlates. But they say you open up Pandora's box, it's going to be a little something, you know, to chew on. Ain't the dog to be chewing on no bones, like you talk about analytically, but information is information. So each one teach one, and, you know, I give thanks to the ancestors for giving me the avenue and giving us the, and also to Dr. Alim and Sister Khadirah that allowed me the space and time to move this information forward a little something to help elevate and advance us a little bit more swift, if you will.
Well, we appreciate you, right?
All right, so the name, now we go with the rebuttal, who is also in the politics, of course, Stacey Yvonne Abrams. She is the first black female, melanated female that was nominated into a major party to be governor of the United States from Georgia, you know what I'm saying, but within Georgia, you know what I'm saying. She's been the minority leader of Georgia for a minute. Her name, Stacey, if you look at the word, is related to Statius. It's an old, or Eustace, or Eustachius. It's a patron saint or whatever of Madrid for hunters. You know, it was some say he might not even be real. Some say he was a Roman general who was converted by seeing a vision of a stag with a crucifix between his antlers. That's a male animal. Gets as a deer with the, you know, crucifix between his antlers. We know that, you know, like that's Baphomet and whatnot, with the symbol and coagula and solve and all that good. So for the coagulation of energy into the manifested physical reality, the solve being like the unseen energy, coagula being the blood or the seen energy as it comes in, the metaphysical aspects, high and low. So this so-called Statius is where the name Stacey is derived from, in this a Roman name, Latin, Statius in the States. It means resurrection. So that goes back, fruitful goes back into the higher, or the Heros Gamios, where one of the main issues or one of the main things to be understood was in that unification was to bring rain and fertility, which basically is life to the land. You know what I'm saying? So her middle name is Divine, you know, and I was like, Divine. You know, I looked it up, like, hold up, Divine it means archer, basically, because the wood, yew wood, is where we get the word Divine from. Yew wood is what the Germans used to formulate or to make the arc, or was the bow and arrow. The wood from the yew tree is what they made the bow and the arrow with. So this bow and arrow led me to Sagittarius. As you know, the sign of, the symbol for Sagittarius is a bow and arrow. And guess what? She was born December 9th. You know, December 9th falls right in line with November 23rd, December 21st, making her a Sagittarius, with her name, Yvonne, meaning archer. You know what I'm saying? So she has this being the attributes of a Sagittarius. She has a strong need for freedom, physical, mental, and spiritual. All right, so when we're looking at, and she hates violence, so when we're looking at that, what is bound in our physical state is our awareness of who we are truthfully. You know what I'm saying? So this female or the goddess here who's representing, if you will, the father energy, because now we go into a last name, which means high exalted father is what it, Abraham turned out as far as, at first it was, his name was Abram, and then he changed it to Abraham, which means our father. They have Ab and Ra or Ram, you know what I'm saying? Ram, you know what I'm saying? So we have Alim, which means high and exalted.
Right.
A ram is a symbol of Ra, you know what I'm saying? Ra is the symbol of the unseen life, meaning like Amin Ra. Amin Ra meaning the hidden light, or the hidden sun, or the hidden energy. So that unseen light that formulates again into the seen light of Haru. You know what I'm saying? The physical manifestation of the Father, the unseen Father. So in this respect, she could be representing the fatherly aspect through the motherly vessel. You know what I'm saying? But not the patriarchal aspect. Yet still, just by the name Abram is representing the high father or the high exalted. You know what I'm saying? Then to go back into the, not the masculinity aspect, but the feminine side of it in the matriarch, she is a woman who is melanated, so that therefore we're looking at the black womb of creation. So that melanin that is within her is going to bring about another exchange of energy that is going to be assisting in the alchemical expression of the state of union, of the state of the union and whatnot. So we have Stacey Avant Abram, meaning again Stacey, well how the word spacious is represented here, meaning fruitful or resurrection. So the resurrection of the high and exalted. You know what I'm saying? Stacey Abram, the resurrection of the high and exalted, by usage of this bow and arrow. You remember Eustace is the patron of hunters. Hunters back then anyway used bow and arrows and spears of the like to go out and get their prey. So, you know, this bow and arrow is representative of Sagittarius. Sagittarius energy is one who is strong need of freedom, physical, mental, and spiritual. And again, what month are we in? We are in what they call the Black History Month, or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's called. I don't see why we just got 1 month to celebrate Black history in America. That's kind of weird that they designate something like that to our walk and our journey. But anyway,
well, it don't matter. You ain't black anyway.
You know, every month is Black History Month, or melanated month. You know,
all right, there we go.
All day.
There we
all
go.
Day, every day. So this month designates that anyway within that spectrum of thought, but basically we go back to that 28 to 14. So that could also represent the masculine and feminine aspects of one being, or the higher and lower aspects. So that connection, that unification, is also entails into the state of the union. So
yeah.
These are a few days.
But
I'm looking at within this.
That correlates too, that correlates too to the 28 days of the moon. Its cycles, waning to waxing, as well as also correlates to the 28 days of the woman's menstrual cycle. It also correlates to the 14 body parts in which that saw was cut up into by Set. Yeah.
All that is symbolic. It's symbolic, but it correlates to this change of the energy, like you said, the 28 days of the lunar cycle. You know, that the sidereal cycle is actually what we should be following. So that 28 point whatever days from like new moon yesterday, new moon being yesterday going into the full moon of the 19th is a 14-day passage to where we can access those energies and qualify the neurons within the brain to go into exactation of like our manifestation internally and externally, because the neurons are going to, if we utilize power words and different mantras or whatnot, then those power words are what we tell those neurons are going to be activated within that whole cycle of unseen into the full moon of seen. And then the process, because what is external is internal, you know, as above, so below, as within, without. And based on the study and practice of cosmology, cosmogony, astrology, astrophysics, astronomy, geometry, anthropology, animal behavior, all these different things, biology and biology, and then cross-referencing it with the ancestors or ancestral information by way of breath or intelligence, those aspects that we breathe in, and then having the knowledge or the awareness of those different sciences on the physical plane, it would then, like I said, qualify the exactation of that manifestation to take place from inside, and then also bring forth physical manifestation on the external through that 14 and 14. That split is like is there to let us know that there is a medium, a happy medium, if you will, you know what I'm saying, between those exchanges of energy when it's utilized properly. And that's what the State of the Union and what we addressed tonight in the metaphysical arena of thought. With these dates, though, now this is going to be crazy right here. If any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know, because these dates, like I said, is wild, about to wild out a little bit. So we had the Super Bowl that just popped off on the 3rd, right?
Right.
February 3rd. So February 3rd, that's 2 week 3. February 3rd. All right. We had so that's the 3rd, right? Okay. So now today is the so-called day of the presidential State of the Union address. That's the 5th. Right. So that's 3 and 5, right? All right. So and then we go, what else is taking place, or what in the past from the 22nd of December all the way to January 25th, they had what we call government shutdown. 35 days, right? 35 days. So that's 3 and 5 again. I'm like, damn, that's another 35. So I'm like, right then, I'm like, it must be another 35 within this. If I didn't seen it this way, so where the other 35 at? We got this football game on the 3rd, State of the Union on the 5th, and then the 35 days between the between this government shutdown, so-called government shutdown. So I was like, where is this other one at? Oh, the Super Bowl 53. That's the other 35. So you got, you know, like I say, when it comes to 3, you already know. So I'm like, all right. So we got 35 on the days between the beginning of the government shutdown. Got 35 on the 3 and 5. We would connect those two and fuse them together of the 3rd of February and the 5th of February. Then we got the 3 and 5 of 53 being the Super Bowl 53. And what does this all mean? Well, we added up, we got 8, right? 8 being the number of Jesus Christ, if you will, inside of some schools of thought. But basically, we had to do Tom Brady. Tom, or Thomas, means twin. And you know his number is 12. So, you know, they're trying to uplift the Patriots, which would be representative of, New England Patriots would be representative of the physical manifestation of Haru. You know what I'm saying? The man or whatnot. Against the Los Angeles Rams. Ram, again, Abraham, you know what I'm saying, is the symbol of Ra, one of the symbols of Ra. The unseen metaphysical reality. So when the defeat or this ritual took place on the 3rd, what was going on is, I think somebody said it's a dynasty that the dude is a part of, but it's all a game. You know what I'm saying? Last year, it was the Atlanta Falcons, you know what I'm saying, that won the Super Bowl. Where is the Super Bowl at this year? In Atlanta, at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You know what I'm saying? So it's a game they playing, and it's all about money. This stadium was like $16 billion, and and they talking about they need a certain amount of money to build a wall to block out, you know, indigenous people from coming over the border. And they build stadiums all over America. There's billions and billions of dollars a piece all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a game of different things, different actions and reactions that they are trying to formulate within these rituals. So on that day, we go back to 8. What does 8 relate to? You know, again, we have, we look at 28, you know what I'm saying? So that 2 and 8, if we're looking at the tree of life, we go from Tahuti or this side, inside of the tree of life, which would be wisdom or the words of wisdom. Tahuti basically means to weigh both sides, or the weighing of both sides. T meaning dual and Tahu meaning weighing. So to weigh both sides. But when it metamorphosized or the step down into 8, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 8 is going into the subject mode or the verbalization of expression, where it is basically physical representation versus spiritual application of Tahuti, stepping down the information of Ra or Asir from 1, Asir being the 1, and 2 being the wisdom of words, weighing the words of duality from the intelligence, the unknown, and then bring it into light by way of all those other trickleizations of the onion as you peel those onion peels away. See, that right there is what I've seen inside of that physical aspect, as well as the metaphysical when we're looking at those dates, 3 and 5. But then I was also looking at Mardi Gras being March 5th, so that's another 3-5. So March 5th is Fat Tuesday coming into next year, well, next month, right. going into the spring. You know what I'm saying? But then I got a little political. I'm like, because this is what it's all related to. As I said before, hearing is believing, seeing is knowing, experiencing is becoming, and experiencing is being. So when we see the 3 and 5, it's got me thinking about 3/5 of a person. I'm like 3 and 5, 3/5 compromise. I'm like, that's some old political shit right there. And one of the things that Abrams is pushing for is voting right. Well, to keep the votes fair, you know what I'm saying? Basically, you know, or amongst other things that I've researched on. But basically, you know, the 3/5 of a person or 3/5 compromise is when they, back in the day, it was like 1860, the government, well, actually it was 1787 when it was put into action, but it states, represents, this is what it actually states, the 3/5 compromise is found in Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3 of the United States Constitution. Representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned among the several states which may be included within this union, according to their respective numbers, which shall be determined by adding the whole number of free persons, including those bound to service for a term of years, excluding Indians not taxed, or Native Americans not taxed. Right. 3/5 of all other persons. Right. So this 3/5 is related to, it's saying out of 5 so-called slaves, only 3 of them will be counted. You know what I'm saying? As far as with with elections and representation of those individuals. You know what I'm saying? So it would heighten or give a better chance to the southern states who own the slaves to have more seats in legislation, as far as the House of Representatives and Congress is concerned, as well as if it was a southern slave owner that was running for presidency at that time. You know what I'm saying? So it gave them an advantage by allowing the slaves or so-called slaves to be included. That's physical. When I look at 3/5 of a person, I look and hear that what's taking place, you got 5 senses. You know what I'm saying? Sight, hearing, touch, smelling, and smell. If you take away sight and you take away hearing, then the person is left deaf and pretty much dumb. You know what I'm saying? They can't. There's a war going on outside the old man's state from these streets that we done took. They walk around, look, head down, right? Well, that's why I might not quote it, but you know what I'm saying, verbatim like to talk about, but when I hear that, I'm like, because there is a war going on. So if there's a war going on with any type of conflict, and the eyes and the ears are not able to really see the reality for what it is, then how are we going to hear or see a bomb if it's coming? How are we going to hear or see the enemy to defeat the enemy? So this war that's taking place is a physical, spiritual war that is psychological, and it is implemented by way of different enhancements in technology, different enhancements in genetic alterations, different enhancements in the way we are educated, so-called educated, which is basically indoctrinated, also systematically through the medical system, so all the things that we are infusing into our state of being and our awareness now is mostly deception. So we go back to that Donald Trump thing, saying the ruler of, or the deceiving ruler of the world, the deceiver of the world. And that is the material aspect of what his energy is compounded into this reality now. Right. You know what I'm saying? So cleaning it up, we need to have our minds open or our eyes open, because they're trying to blind us by the different material, like Peru being light, but when the light is overbearing, it is blinded. And when we are looking, we get blinded by the light when we're not seeing. But we also can be deafened by the vibration when we're hearing and we're not really listening. So little children run around like, look at me, look at me. But as we get older, we don't really want people to look at us. We want to, when we're looking at something, we're not really looking at the whole picture. We just look, like if I say, one of the expressions is, you put your hand to your face and you look at it, you put it real close to your face, you can basically see all the 5 fingers. But when you move it away from your face, you can really see and view all 5 fingers. So when we're looking at something so up close and personal, it becomes up close and personal, and we get blinded by that light, all those material expressions of multiplicity, the 10,000 things. So when we step away from it and we take that breath and we take the initiative to observe it from a different perspective, the hawk eye, in relation to the hawk head, then we can see it from a wider area and be able to localize and then focus. Because they say the hawk can see up to 2 miles away from its prey and be able to zoom in on it with its eyes and focus on it. So we can focus on something from a farther sense of our perception when we utilize the mind's eye. To that manifest the energy of Ra, which is basically perfect creation. So that when we can see things, and we can also, this is relating to the symbol of Symmetry. So Symmetry, the symbol, we have Peru on one side and we have Set on the other side. Set has the beak of a vulture, which represents Mu. And Mu is the mother energy, where we get the word mother is from Mu. But Mu is the vulture, which represents purification again. So we go back to purity or purification, which is the process that takes place in the month of February, or so-called ritualistic aspect, which was developed by ancient ancestors. It's not nothing new, that these Romans or Greeks developed. They learned from the masters. They dedicated to the masters of our ancestors, our ascendants. And so this purification process, this nurturing process of Nu, is also on the beat or the symbol of Set. Set meaning darkness, Nu meaning being the mother goddess or the dark mother goddess, because she's a dark or a black vulture. All vultures are female. All vultures, they're actually, the eggs are actually impregnated by the wind. There is no masculine or no male energy that comes in other than the wind blowing and placing the elements for that vulture to conceive the egg or to conceive the next generation, which would be another woman, just like the mitochondria. Mitochondria is only passed from one woman to the next woman. So the same aspect, the mother goddess of creation. That's why our ancients developed that symbol into the mystery system as the mother goddess, a representation of how all vultures are women. All right, so also the nurturing. So the vulture will pierce their own arm if there's no food readily available to feed its young. You know what I'm saying? It'll go without and almost die to allow the young to survive and continue. You know what I'm saying? So that symbolizes it, as well as it also has donkey ears. Donkey ears represent hearing, of course. So in this hearing or this listening to everything, one comprehends and learns everything. So the ears of the donkey symbolizes the listening aspect. The seeing aspect is the symbol of Peru, where we have Peru being the hawk head, and is also representative of Ra, the purpose of the creation, by way of the blood being the spirit, you know what I'm saying, or the connectivity to the spirit by way of breath. So Ra, the unseen, goes into the blood and formulates or coagulates again into the physical manifestation of the being, you know. I mean, if you got any questions, let me know. So I don't want to just be going. But like I said, I got a few things I'm running through. So that 3/5 metaphysically is sight and hearing. The other 3/5, meaning 2 of those aspects of our senses is cut off. The touch, feel, and feeling is still there. But how we gonna smell our way through a war? You know, or taste our way through a war? We gonna eat our way out? You know, that ain't the, you know what I'm saying? We gotta be able to see with the mind's eye. We have to be able to hear or listen with the heart. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When we connect those together, then what is going to happen basically is that unification. So now we go into, again, it got a little crazy. I'm like looking at the numbers and I'm like, okay, it's a lot of 3s too. So 33, you know, we always go back to 33. But I was like, why is the 33 popping up in my head right now? So I had to look up the location of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And it resides right there on the 33rd parallel. Right, exactly. And I was like, wow, that's a coincidence. The Atlanta Falcons rock, you know what I'm saying,
right.
Peru Stadium.
And of course, in the Marvel comic book, as well as also in the new Avengers movie, or the Avengers movies, you know, the Falcon is melanated.
Exactly. Yep. Over there with dude, I forget his name.
Yeah,
he's melanated.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good point, because that's Haru. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In retrospect, that is us. You know what I'm saying? The true
Indeed.
light of the intelligence, or the hidden true light of the intelligence,
right.
the hidden light, is the melanated man and the melanated woman.
Indeed.
So the only thing that can happen is truth. You know what I'm saying? But also, guess what other stadium or what other city is located on the 33rd parallel?
Right.
Los Angeles. So Los Angeles Rams and the Atlanta, Georgia Mercedes-Benz Stadium are right there on the 33rd parallel. Right. I mean, there are numerous other activities that have taken place in this area. Of course, we all know about JFK being assassinated there. We got Roswell over there in Arizona. We got Dallas, Texas. Of course, there's all types of stuff besides the JFK incident. But all these areas, including Damascus and Birmingham, you know, it's Baghdad. Is also with Saddam Hussein. He built his palace on the 33 degree and 33 north You know what I'm saying? So he had 4 threes right there and built his palace right there on that exact spot. You know what I'm saying? Mathematically. And I'm thinking intentionally. All the 33s led me to that, and I was like, wow, well, you know, they doing the ritual thing, you know, or whatever you want to call it. But in retrospect, what that is we're looking at this thing, the Super Bowl, you know what I'm saying, on TV. I didn't watch it myself. I don't know who won because, you know, the word got out. Of course, I didn't see the game, just, you know, to know the play-by-play or nothing. But just looking at the word Super Bowl, super meaning first rate or excellent, and it comes from the Latin super, that means above, over, or beyond, right? So we have super, meaning first rate or excellent, if you will, you know what I'm saying? But also excess, you know what I'm saying? So we have excess. And then we have ball or bowl, meaning a vessel, bowl, a round vessel that holds liquids or liquid food. But it comes from the Old English or Old German word to blow or swell, a large drinking cup that was used figuratively as a symbol within festivities or drunkenness. So Super Bowl means, to me, excess drunkenness, intoxication, to intoxicate the mind by way of illusionary devices formulated through the active control mechanism of a football game inside of the stadium or the dome. You know what I'm saying? Super Bowl, excess drunkenness or excess delusionment by way of an illusionary reality. That's the physical aspect of it. Okay. You know?
Right.
So, you feel me?
Yeah.
All right. Then we go into a little, again, side of language arts, hyperbole. Hyper is where the word Super Bowl could be derived from, because super and hyper means the same thing. Hyper means excess. A hyperbole is an exaggeration, extravagance. It's literally a throwing beyond, from hyper, beyond. So there we go back into beyond, which super also means. Super again means from Latin super, above, over, or beyond. So this hyperbole is an exaggeration, a throwing beyond. Hyperbole, a casting, the stroke of a missile, you know, a bolt, beam. But what do they do in Super Bowl games or in football games? They throw footballs, you know what I'm saying? So they throw in this football beyond, you know what I'm saying? Or basically what it's saying is a throwing beyond, meaning hyperbole, also meaning excess. So the Greek word meaning excess is a figure of speech that uses extreme exaggeration to make a point or to show emphasis on something. Like we use hyperboles all day long. We'll be like, I'm tired as 4 wheels. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But so we say things that not really is an exaggeration.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? So that's a hyperbole. It's beyond, it's throwing beyond what the physical reality is really. So it has a good measure within the metaphysical aspect, like in hip hop or in songwriting, poems, and creative writing and things like that. It has a good way to express one's alter side. Basically, what I mean is their higher intentions, their higher representation of what they see physically. You know, again, what we see physically is with the 2 eyes. What we see metaphysically is with the mind side, and that relates to right brain. What we see through or how we have verbal interpretations is left brain of logic, and how those verbal expressions are formulated by use of sound, you know what I'm saying? And then we see it by way of the audio, you know what I mean, the visual, which is right brain. But when we utilize both of them together, I'm going to get into that in 1 minute. It then again goes into the state of the human. So now we spoke on language arts, now because again, I look at Super Bowl meaning excess drunkenness. You know what I'm saying? The bowl, you know, so this big bowl they got right here, it has it's just like it's a melting pot or a melting bowl of all these different emotions. You know, people coming from all over the world sitting up in this game, you know, and they putting these things together, you know, that in their whole life are now united under this, within this bowl, you know what I'm saying? So they spinning it around as far as the system is concerned, whoever's, you know, formulating these wizards and warlocks or whatever, formulating this means of transmuting the lower energies into where they can utilize it improperly outside of that bowl, you know what I'm saying? So they pour it into that cup and they get drunk by using the blood and energy of all these people that join together in their unification unknowingly to participate in this ritual, even on the TV when they watching it, you know what I'm saying, every year. So as long as they got observers taking place in these rituals, then the ritual has fuel. Again, you know, I speak on it, and I probably got it wrote down somewhere in here. It is the observer who is or the viewer who is the true bridge or the medium that gives the energy of whatever is to be manifested the power. It gives the we are, or the observer, the viewer is the one that actualizes whatever the operator is wanting to become outside of that. So if we're watching it every year, then it's going to be another one next year because the viewer is there in that ritual on that February 3rd Candlemas, or you know, February 2nd or 3rd could be Candlemas, and they got the festival of candles lit. So all these candles is lit, these emotions is lit, and they go through this transition every year to be able to go back to next year and put some money on it so they can, you know, pay the debt off or whatever. Deficit. Really, it's about blood and sweat. It's about energy, resources. The most natural resource on the planet Earth, you know, and you know how the capitalist colonial European is, they try to strip the planet Earth of all resources, but the most powerful natural resource on the planet Earth is man. You know what I'm saying? So to get man's mind captivated and transfixed on certain situations and predicaments, it's an automatic win for them. You know what I'm saying? Because now they have that resource. You know what I'm saying? And then we go right back to the man with our hands out groveling, looking for, you know, some book to read from their library, you know what I mean, or trying to get another degree or something from them so we can get some pennies out of their pocket. They know it ain't real. But that's just that whole mechanism of control. So now we're going to mathematics, geometry, or algebra as well, but the hyperbola. So we went from Super Bowl, excess drunkenness, to hyperbole, the excess, beyond, you know what I'm saying, or an extravagant exaggeration to make a point or show emphasis of something. Then hyperbola. Hyperbola is a curved form by the intersection of a plane with a double cone. And it also again means a throwing beyond, because basically it exceeds the side of both of the cone. So what a hyperbola again is, again, you have a vertex or the intersection of two planes. So say you have two symmetrical lines, one going north, south, and one going east-west. So if you draw lines from the two sides in a 45-degree angle going towards the point where these symmetrical lines meet north and south, form a cross in the center, you draw lines 45-degree on both sides, left, right, and then left, right, one going in the ascending up from the bottom and the other one descending down. That forms a vortex or a vertex, you know what I'm saying, vortex. So you had this point or dot in between it right there, and cookies would be on the side of point of the sides of what we would call the lines of symmetry. So the vertex is in the center, forming something almost like an X, you know what I'm saying, basically. And also, if you're looking at it, it's forming what would be going into the hexagram or Mogen David, Star David, which would basically be a Merkaba, you know what I'm saying? So this Merkaba is formulated by way of hyperbole. But this is only, I mean, in my interpretation, metaphysically, if you're looking at it, you know what I'm saying, you put those two representations together, and you see where I'm coming from. You see the vertical line of symmetry and the horizontal line of symmetry forming that cross. Then in the center, you put a dot, and then you form an X within that, going into that center. That will be the hyperbole, or basically the hyperbola, again, is the curve formed by the intersection of a plane with a double cone. So the double cone is representing a mirror image of what's going on from the physical plane of that vertex, that horizontal line of symmetry and that vertical line of symmetry. So how does the hyperbola work in real life? So let's go back to throwing the ball or whatever. So as far as like Super Bowl is concerned, you know, so again, super, a bowl meaning ball, because it goes back to bala or balian, but super meaning above or beyond, to throw above or beyond. You know what I'm saying? So throwing above and beyond, when we relate a hyperbola to reality or in real life, so to speak.
Well, you know what Dr. Francis Coswelton say about the football or any types of balls in which that the European love his games. You know, in this regard, the ball symbolizes our balls. That's why the majority of the players in the NFL are melanated people. And then, of course, it's brown. The ball is brown, in which that symbolizes the family jewels. You know, where the sperm, you know, and the semen, you know, resides at, you know, until it's time to be gushed forth, you know, in order to, you know, to make that touchdown.
And then it's also made of flesh of a pig.
Right. But then the ball is made of a flesh of a pig, in which that, of course, you know, we being the real Hebrews, you know, Israelites, you know, the so-called Black Jews, you know, we're not supposed to touch the damn pig.
Exactly.
You know, you know, we're not even supposed to eat it nor touch it. So here they are having us touch this shit, you know, to catch it and then run with it with passion and for, you know, and, you know, across 100 yards, you know, to make a touchdown, you know, similar to the same thing which we see with the sperm, you know, traveling with the other hundreds of millions of sperms in order to, you know, to go into the woman's, you know, ovary, you know, to get to the woman's ovary or ovum, you know, in order to, you know, create life.
Yeah.
You know, so all of that correlates. Yeah. So Francis Coswelton speaks about this in the ISIS papers. So definitely.
And I'm glad you brought that up with the balls thing, but when we have to go back to an indigenous state with the ancestral information, right, in the Omi. Brought rubber over from
That's
Noob,
right.
Or the Dogon brought rubber over from Noob.
That's right.
And when they brought it, they developed. They already had the game system of what we call soccer or football.
Right.
Developed then.
Right.
But we're looking at it from that perspective. Also, I'm glad you brought it up because Atlanta, the word is derived from that transition from Noob to the Americas.
Right.
It wasn't called America then. The Dogons named it in their language, or Micmac or Aliquan, as we developed a Metronetra, basically, it was named Utla. You know what I'm saying? And Utla meant to vacate one land and go to another land. So when they got here, they noticed that it wasn't just, our ancestors noticed it wasn't just a North America, it was also a South America. Well, it wasn't just a South America, it was a North America as well. So they devised the name Utlan. Utlan, which is plural of Utla, to vacate, and then it meant Utla to vacate the two. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
As we kept evolving or developing into words, that it changed from Utla to Utland, to Atlant.
To Atlant. That's right.
To Atlanta.
That's right.
You know,
that's right. Exactly.
33rd parallel. So that's why in that whole area we have a lot of indigenous people because they migrated or diaspored from Mesoamerica, where the Olmec heads are, all those different busts, all the way up now to, you know, but this is all taking place in that grand diaspora, you know, where millions and millions and millions of us are going around the whole planet, not just in the area, but that's one of the aspects, like you were just saying. So that game is in our subconscious, it's a part of our DNA. Now someone else is the operator, or you know, the generator, operator, destroyer, in place of us being the Godhead. Someone else is now holding the controller and saying, "I'm gonna give you these pieces of rights right here, or these pennies, and you go out there and kill yourself." Because the game was called, it was a saying inside of athletics, "Leave it on the field." You know what I'm saying? What that was in reference to the Mayans and how when they played the game of soccer or football, the losing team would get massacred. They would actually leave it on the field. So, you know what I'm saying? They played their heart out. And then at the end, if they lost, it was only a festival or ritual rites, and they didn't do it every game, but it was like the Super Bowl, you know what I'm saying? Or the NBA championship. If they lost, they leave it on the field. They would leave their whole soul on the field, and they would saturate the green with their blood for that ritualistic purpose. You know, that's also why the Mayans they vacated and went to Cambodia, and all that just took place in that whole diaspora because they was disbanded from unity because of their aggressive nature. But yeah, I'm glad you brought to that because that was something I looked at. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that whole thing with the ball, it does represent our lower self, and then we're on that plane of existence of that vertex, or that where the vertex meets that point. You know what I'm saying? That point of exactation is also represented as the black hole. You know what I'm saying? So that black hole or that vortex is where all of our whole life comes into and then leaves out. Like you said, that sperm fighting for, you know, erasing all those, 7,777,000, whatever, you know what I'm saying? This is what they say in science, how many sperm.
Right, 777,777,777 cells, right.
That's
and it only takes one.
You know, floating in there. So that's a lot of life going on. And then get to that vortex and that one pop out of that black womb of creation, and then come into this physical arena as the light bearer, or that Haru.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a beautiful scenario to be able to be so, you know, on that other end to see that. You know what I'm saying? So the hyperbola in real life is like when you throw a ball into the air, the ball leaves our hand, and then it reaches a certain height in the sky, and then it falls back to the ground. So the path that the ball takes as we throw it straight up, and then as we see the arc as it turns and comes back, if this path was visible, we could see it, and then hold a mirror down and look at it, then the path or that reflection would create a plane going from where we are, looking at it, seeing it in the sky, as it arcs back down, and we put a mirror right there as it comes back down, we would have a hyperbola seeing the arc from the up, and the arc from the base under it. So it gives us a reflection of what the path is going. It's basically saying, as above, so below. You know what I'm saying? That's how I looked at it.
Right.
So if we, you know what I'm saying, if we had that arc, which is an important part of, you know, geometry and different sacred geometry as well, when that arc is in tune to our physical reality, that arc is basically a door, you know what I'm saying, or a portal to alternate dimensions and alternate perceptions as well.
Indeed,
so that's
indeed.
That's in the center of that black, that you know what I'm saying, that hyperbola. So yeah, I know that's kind of like, this is just the first part of it. Now the second part is just breaking down stuff. Any questions, anything like that before I proceed?
It was a questions. It was some comments. Let me find.
That's deep because there were back in the 50s when they would have, or back in the day when they would have the football games, UFOs and stuff would come from other dimensions. And then also, I believe it was December. It was a couple of months in Queens. There was a vortex that was open. You know, so some people in
back in December.
Yep, some people up north will know what I'm talking about. They blamed it on a factory or something like that.
Right, claiming that a factory blew up, but that's another story.
But also Elohee, I don't know if you remember that guy who actually stopped he was the reason, his arrest was the reason why the shutdown had stopped. Because it seemed like it was the same as that day. He got arrested that morning and then it stopped at 5 o'clock that afternoon.
Yeah, she talking about Trump boy.
I think his name is Eric, something like that.
Oh,
but anyway.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I didn't know it was that day. Yeah. I didn't realize the day until I was doing the research, but that was the same day that dude.
If I'm not mistaken, God. And then he actually pardoned Marcus Garvey.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Okay.
You know. So yeah.
Right,
so
well, I'm gonna go to the second part, I guess.
Okay.
Because I know. You know how it is. You know, the second part ain't gonna be too long-winded. I'm trying not to break it up. It's gonna be abbreviated, but it is some good information. First of all, when we're looking at life and our accessibility to what it is that we want, or what we really want, what do most people really want out of life?
Money, happiness,
that white picket fence, 2.5 children,
health,
and a marriage.
They should want health too.
I said that white picket fence, that White House, 2.5 children.
No. She said the first two things she said was exactly what most people want.
Yeah, of course, but that's not what we've been programmed with. No, we ain't been programmed for no health. No, we haven't.
Nah, I like that to talk about. Because, I mean, too many people running back and forth to whatever it is externally to find good health, you know.
Right.
But like she said,
money.
Most people want money to make them happy, and then with happiness. So money is a superficial thing that we think is going to make us happy.
Right.
But so we all want to basically, innately, we want to be happy. Even a baby or an infant who has no idea what money is, knows he or she wants to be happy. You know what I'm saying? So it loves that hug. It loves them, mama, gaga, you know, woo, all that, and then the baby.
Right, that peekaboo.
You know what I'm saying? But that baby happy.
Yeah.
You don't know nothing about the other stuff. So happiness is equated also to success, because when we look at the word success basically means to accomplish a goal or a purpose. So success is the natural fulfillment of one's life purpose, their soul assignment. True success is not measured by a job or a title within the job, or what car I'm driving to the job, or my window in my office, or how big my office is in my job. That's not true success. True success is not, in general, from the metaphysical point of view, is not related to the rat race or the game of life that we play to get to certain positions by way of what we've been taught. That, like I said, the American dream, that white picket fence and the green grass and the big white house and all that. That's not true success. The true purpose of success or happiness is knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? So basically, what exactly is our purpose? Purpose is the reason why something or someone has been formed or created. So the purpose of the creation determines the success of the creative, undifferentiated energy matter that resides within that creation. So if the purpose of the formalization or the material aspect is not being utilized properly, then it is diffused, misused, and confused energy. So what that means is like if we got a trumpet and it's sitting in the corner of a room, then it's not serving the purpose of creating energy that formed the trumpet. Therefore, the trumpet is not going to be successful because its purpose is what? To make music and not be on display. So therefore, what's taking place in this reality is that we become frustrated and we think that we're failing in life because most people haven't discovered what their true purpose is or their soul assignment. So that being the discovery of the knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? Knowledge of self is something that's not inherited genetically. It's something, well, it's partially. Full knowledge of self is not genetic, is not inherited genetically. The who and what is obtained, that's what we see, you know what I'm saying? That's what we know through our personality. That's all left brain, you know, earth realm manifestation. The how and why, the metaphysical aspect, or the astral realm, the right brain, the spiritual aspect versus the material, that's something that we learn through the initiative and the intuition of that said child or student by way of research and examination, cross-referencing all that with ancestral information. Like I learned, you know what I'm saying, by way of Dr. Alim and a few other of the grandmasters that came through, you know what I'm saying, always go back to the ancestry information when we're looking at what's going on in front of us with the physical eye, cross-reference it with an analytical process, you know what I'm saying, and that's by way of ancestral information. Also what I call nature's law, or the nature chain, or nature matter being fused with permanent, you know what I'm saying, matter. So permanent means the realm of permanency resides in what is real, you know what I'm saying. So like something that's real is going to always be going even if man ain't there. So like nature will always produce an apple tree, even if that man ain't there to plant that seed. Nature will produce that apple tree naturally.
That's true.
So nature's thing, you know what I'm saying, is going to always exist, even if we ain't here.
True.
As far as physically, you know what I'm saying? So if we are succeeding in life, then we need to practice and study what we are and how we are becoming successful by way of nature's law. But if we are failing in life or shortcoming, then we should study and start to see what laws or natural laws we are violating. So if someone is not so successful in their life, or we having frustration, then there are certain things or certain laws of nature that we may be violating. For instance, you know, you can't really be judged by nature's law. You know, the laws of the world, we can't be judged by man's law because nature's law already judges us. Like we're talking about like a man and woman having sex. If a man and woman lay down to have sex unprotected and they don't want to have a child, they might be judged by nature's law to have a child. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, if you put your hand in fire, you get burned. So that's nature's law, burning our hand. If I put a blindfold on and I walk in a house full of rooms and doors, I'm liable to bang my head on the wall or trip up over something and bust my head open because that's nature's law. So if we go against our natural instincts and our natural senses, then nature will judge us. You know what I'm saying? If we don't need a man outside of the judicial system to judge us, we should already know and police ourselves from the individual dual self-point of view before they even walk out. Fold off so they know where they stepping and where they going within their own self. So that would produce, you know, a reality that's going to be inducive of them to be able to grow and be productive, as well as this, you know, this grand unification of the higher and lower self is going to this.
Okay.
So natural laws are the same today as they were in so-called Mosaic times with the Mosaic laws. These are natural laws. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, don't touch the pig. It's an abomination. You know what I'm saying? Pay his own dupe all day. You eat his own dupe. Don't mess with it. You know, just like they say, don't lay with a woman on the cycle, because the blood is their way of filtering or cleaning out. So why am I going to lay in the bed with a woman who has their cycle going on if I know they're detoxing? I'm going to lay down in their detox, you know, to get contaminated blood on me. So they also say don't, as far as Mosaic law, don't have sex with a woman while they are going through the cycle, you know what I'm saying? But some of these laws we do break, you know what I'm saying, as far as, you know, so, but again, the law judges does, you know what I'm saying? Can't really break nature's law. Nature's law breaks us, you know what I'm saying? But if we walk into an area with blindfolds on, we liable to trip up on something. So take the blindfold off and see what we're doing. So there we go into this thing with, you know, this government, to say it's a problem, but the problem exists that within these governments, they insist that we do need to find a job. So when we seeking a job, what a job implies is learning a skill to operate inside of that particular occupation. Whereas work implies doing something such as an act, a deed, you know, that resonates with that said individual's life assignment, or that said individual's purpose in life, their soul assignment. So in Hebrew and Greek, the word ergon means to act. Also, it means to become. All right. The word ergon is the word for work. So when we look in the Bible, when we see where the first instance or the first law that the so-called Hebrew God gave man was to work. And it states this is in Genesis chapter 2, verse 15. It says, the Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. That's physically. That's what we see with our two eyes. You know what I'm saying? We say, you know, Lord God got Adam, you know, he blew into his nostril. He took him in there, put him in the Garden of Eden, and he said, work these lands and take care of it. What that said to me, metaphysically, is, man, the Lord God took the mind, you know what I'm saying, or that unseen, undifferentiated energy matter, came in, took the mind of the higher self, you know, the spirit, the intelligence, and put it into the Garden of Eden, or put it into the earth, into the physical, or the lower self, to work it and to take care of it, to till it. Or to work it basically means to be the custodian of nature. So the mind of the African, or the mind of the indigenous man, was placed into the physical shell of the earth to be the custodian and take care of the planet Earth. You know what I mean? In its experience. So, as again, the word ergon means work also, but it also means to become. It also means completion or action. But when we look at the word experience pertains to the fact or state of having been affected by or gained knowledge through direct observation or participation. It also means the conscious events that make up an individual's life. So work or experience, again, experience is becoming. So work meaning to become. By way of the experience, what that is saying is, when one has direct observation and is participating with their true intent, then they are becoming who they truly are. But since, like we say in the 3/5, the hearing and the seeing is now been obstructed by way of all these external devices and different distractions in life, in the illusionary aspect of life, then our true obtaining of who we are, the higher self or the higher intelligence, is somewhat delayed. But delayed don't mean denied, you know what I'm saying? So that's another purpose, you know, of what we were talking about tonight. And the purpose ain't the reason ain't the purpose. So our true purpose is not what we are or have been led to believe it is in some reality. You know what I'm saying? Some people think they're supposed to be a doctor, but then they get into, 4 years in, they like, man, why the hell I go to school 8, 12 years to get this, medical degree? I don't even like this. This is not what I want. I want to write, or I want to dance. You know what I'm saying? So they're true, because they was a dancer when they was 4 or 5 years old, and was all over the place, real good at it. That was an innate ability, something they were born with, something that they had access to within their own self, something that they didn't even really have to learn, or like a trade. You know what I'm saying? So again, work implies doing something, an act or a deed, and is in essence to become. Work means to become who and what we truly are by developing and nurturing their life assignment or soul purpose. So work is your gift, what we are formed to do, versus a job is a skill, something that we were trained to do. You know what I'm saying? So we can get fired from a job or quit, retire, do and all that good stuff, but we can't get fired or quit or retire from a natural part of ourselves. You know what I mean? I ain't never seen a bird or something naturally say, I'm done with this flying shit. I'm going to clip my wings. You know what I'm saying? That ain't happening. The birds naturally will always going to fly. That bird's going to naturally hibernate. I don't see no birds that, I ain't hibernating. Fuck this, I'm going to stay out here. You know what I'm saying? They going to go in that cage and they going to lay down and do what they do naturally. You know what I'm saying? So that taking place, what's going on is our wings are getting clipped. You know what I'm saying? So the wings get clipped unnaturally by an unnatural being. You know what I'm saying? So when it's taking place, it ain't due to us naturally having the cognitive devices of sight and hearing available in the metaphysical sense. You know what I'm saying? So and this is another imperative point, when one is reaching or accessing success or happiness, it is dependent on insight. So the deity Heru is the sixth sphere of the Kabbalistic tree, or if that would be typical, meaning beauty, but of the tree of life, the Paternatir is Heru. So that represents heart, it represents fire, it represents the will, it represents the drive of man. It's the driving force of motivation in our daily actions. So that's that Heru aspect of heart. You know what I'm saying? The seat of power is judged by Ma'at, which sits at the fourth seat. So we got 4 and 6, which equals 10, that's completion, 1 and 0. But the fourth seat, Ma'at, represents synthesis, bringing all things back into a collective whole without separating it by way of the definition or categorizing it with the specific attribute as it is being separate from the whole. So the word Ma'at is phonetically similar to Ma'a, or M-A-A, which in Metanetter means to see or to have insight. So Ma'at resides within the fourth sphere of the tree of life of the Paternatir, and it is the eighth sphere of Sebek. Sebek represents or expresses thoughts in a verbal format by way of hearing, and that's left brain. In contrast to the fourth sphere of Ma'at, which expresses thoughts or informs the self by way of visualization. All right, so that's seeing, that's a right brain function. So to know a definition is not necessarily to know the thing or the event that is being defined. So when we define certain things, we look at, for instance, the word kill. We define the word kill, it means to cause death or of a person, an animal, or plant, or something. You know what I'm saying? We're killing this insect or whatever. But when we synthesize it into a whole, and we're not just looking at it from the definitive or the left brain, the logical sense, and we say creatively through visualization, we can look at like somebody dancing, and they out there, it's like somebody doing something exceptional. So they on the dance floor, they dancing, and be like, damn, he or she, they killing it. Look at this, they're doing it, killing it. You know what I'm saying? So we can look at these words and we get a definition like the word nigger. Most people think nigger is a derogatory word, but when we do deeper research, we find that nigga actually means something of power. It's a word of power that means king or queen or god or goddess.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So the nagas, meaning wisdom, also meaning king or kingly, is not a negative connotation of something ignorant. It's actually a power word that brings forth and generates a sense of a sense of pride, as well as a conscious connection of our ancestors to this day. By saying, you know, don't say the word, or that, why you calling me a nigga? You know what I'm saying? That's negating that fact that our ancestors went through a whole experience of being the nigga or the naga to then be, you know, translated into a negative sense by way of what we call it the middle passage. The middle passage is a metaphysical application or a derivative that what's taking place is a tunnel of exchange of experience and from a higher state back into a lower state via those custodians of unnature, not nature. So when they took and they replaced the definition of what we had placed as nigga or nigga and placed it into a negative sense, it developed into what we have today as something that we are afraid of. So, you know, just like we're scared to go to hell and we living in it, you know what I mean? So we thinking hell is a place of fire and brimstone when I done seen plenty of fire and brimstone right in front of me, you know what I'm saying? And then we activate this hell every day, but we scared to die, you know what I'm saying, or whatever we want to call it, death, ignorance, and emotions, due to the fact that a lot of people are looking at this, you know, this realm that has been embedded into our subconscious as being reality, and it ain't so, you know what I'm saying? There ain't never been no hell in none of the ancient mystery systems or ancient literatures of what we would call religion or spiritual systems. You know what I'm saying? It ain't never been no place like that to be known. You know what I'm saying? They would call it purgatory or something like that nowadays, and Sheol and Hades and all this. But this is just to really depict the mind on some spirit element, so that we'll be unknowing in that exchange or that middle passage as we do develop into the next exchange onto the next. But so as we go into where was I was talking about the fourth spirit, and how when we define something, normally we define it by way of just the logical brain. So when we can synthesize those things, like my mom say I'm bullheaded, that don't mean I'm a bull. But when we synthesize that comment, and that's a hyperbola as well, when we synthesize that comment, what we're saying is I'm stubborn, or, you know what I'm saying, I don't listen, you know, well, you know what I'm saying, so I'm bullheaded. So we utilize that animalistic nature and we embed it or we fuse it with human nature. And that's another aspect of the state of union or the state of unification. The separation of all of these different things, that's the Sebek quality or the AC. So some things that we look at from that perspective, when we place them back together, it can be utilized properly in the more creative avenue of the right brain capability. And also, as we look at the deity or the word Sebek, you know what I'm saying, is the A spirit. His title was given to that spirit or that Sephiroth by way of the Greco-Roman. And in that period of the Greco-Roman period, it was represented Mercury. So it was also entitled Sebeku by ancient ancestors of Kemet or Africa. So Sebeku or Sebek being representing Mercury, Mercury was noted as being the messenger of the god. So this correlates to the language verbalizing centers of Braca and Warmke on the left hemisphere. So when we also note that verbal thinking is the process of placing into verbal form what is imaged or felt or what is known nonverbal. So in essence, the Sebek faculty or Mercury translates and transmutes nonverbal messages into words. The Mercury also represents Hermes Trismegistus, who was the one who transmutes or it develops the alchemical expression of as above, so below. And that whole expression is basically pertaining to how we take in the unseen cosmic energy and develop into this physical reality. You know what I'm saying? The last statement, the last stanza of that quote in the Emerald Tablet states that I think it says, I am thrice great as Hermes, and I have all three parts of the wisdom of the universe. And therefore, what it says? Yeah, it says, therefore I am called Hermes thrice greatest, and I have all three parts of the wisdom of the universe. Hence, I've explained the operation of the sun. You know what I'm saying? Not just talking about Ra or the sun that we see, but talking about the hidden sun, Amen Ra and Aten Ra, or you know what I'm saying, that the circle and the dot. We'll get into that too, the circle, dot, dot, dot. Y'all remember that? Now I got my cootie shot. You know what I'm saying? What are we talking about with the cootie? You know, Kuti or Haru, Kuti. Kuti is both sides, so two sides. T meaning dual and Ku meaning light or whatnot. So the light, the dual light, you know what I'm saying? But Haru Kuti, you know, so the dual dark light, Ku means dark, light. So the dual dark light. But so when the transmutation of the normal flows into words, the names and definitions and the logical activities are in concert. When these names and definitions are in concert or they are balanced, then the Ma'at reality or the way is open. You know what I'm saying? The Ma'at is the balancing of these energies by way of instead of it being separate, synthesizing them by way of 4 and 8. 4, the opposite of 4 is 8. So we have Ma'at being Chasad or Ma'at, the fourth Sephra. Then the fourth Sephra is Ma'at meaning balance or harmony. You know, going into Ma'at actually, or Ma'ati means to balance both sides. You know what I'm saying? To balance duality. So when we balance duality, the way is open. And the way being is the way is open for basically the hidden light, the intelligence to express potential to our career, you know, marriage, success, and then, you know, basically happy part of our life. So our life purpose or our soul assignment is of being advanced or is being uplifted and elevated. And, you know, so the Sabek faculty also gives us the ability to separate and categorize parts of a whole or members of a group on the premises of what the external attribute may seem to be. So that's cool and that's good due to our ability of looking at an event or thing and being able to distinguish its parts and processes and its functions. So, you know, like if we go into an event, like it might be a party, and we can notice the green thumb out of it, or we can, you know, oh, that person right there, they know what they doing with this planting of the seed, or we can notice the bad seed. You know, like, oh, gotta stay away from that guy right there or that girl right there, because, you know, that's being able to separate person, place, and things within an event. But in the same breath, that being good, you know, to be able to distinguish the parts of a process, like a clock, you take the clock apart, all the intricate pieces of the clock, you know what I'm saying, that's on the wall, and you see how it's processing and how it does apply to how it works. But on the other hand, when we separate events and things into different bubbles of reality based on its superficial values, it also causes or triggers what we now have as societies throughout the world who are bent on destruction and chaos due to verbal thinking and the definitions and names being of obstruction or blocking the acquisition of what the true interface of what is pertaining by way of the hidden light of the intelligence or that information, the true interface of that information coming in by way of synthesizing the things and its adherents that are adhered to that reality. So when we're seeing this bad seed and we're seeing the good seed, you know what I'm saying? You gotta remember the whole is the part. Not to get caught up on those. Notice it and separate it, then put it back together. So verbal thinking process superimpose with definitions and formulas that have been force-fed to us by way of indoctrination. So even when the definitions are beneficial and correct, there's still a process of substituting those symbols that imitate reality for the true reality that's there itself. So it's, in truth, to know the reality, the thinking process needs to be still. That's where the meditation comes into play. We cut off critical thinking, or we cut off problem solving, which is the frontal lobes that accesses problem solving and critical thinking, which is important. You know what I'm saying? But when we go into meditation, it stills the mind, and we're not going to stop thinking, but it slows down all those different thoughts that we are confused with and being pretty much bombarded with throughout the day, so that the access of our truth, our inheritance, can actually flow through those short waves. That the brother that y'all was talking about the other day, but basically we got high frequency that when flowing down, probably high frequencies are equivalent to the hidden light of the intelligence, or the why, or the information, or why life force energy, photonic energy, solaric energy, galactical energy, as well as cosmic energy. So as it flows down, it's on a higher frequency than extra low frequency. Electromagnetic fields and things within our circumference of this environmental reality. So basically, when we have extra low frequency, we have long wavelengths. So a lot of information is getting those long wavelengths. It's like playing a low note on the piano. Boom. So that low note goes on for a longer distance. So a lot of information, when it's in that extra low frequency, it can be infiltrate processing our true nature or our DNA, within the genetic. So basically, when we have high frequency, and it goes to those short wavelengths, the same standing waveform, the electrons, protons, and neutrons actually go into the right information, will go into the cellular aspect of the nucleus, and open up the DNA so it can expand and express itself properly, and therefore gaining that accessibility to our life assignment, or our purpose in life, and our soul assignment. You know what I'm saying? So that deep breathing, the meditation, is stilling the mind from all those different verbal thinking, or that overthinking. Those, with the conversations we have, that the dialogue that we have in our brain all through the day, can actually confuse us and cause a dilemma or a delay in the processing of that DNA, or that state of union, that intertwine. So before my or harmony balance, can take place to receive this success or happiness, and we must, or basically before that happens, we have to have intuitive insight and also connect the creative verbal thinking together to reconcile two opposing and complementary dualities into that one, that state of union. So this is the goal that we are all looking for. This goal is accomplished by absorbing knowledge, utilizing both intellect, left brain physical activities like verbal thinking, and intuition, right brain metaphysical activities such as insight, intuitive nature, and this will assist in transcending the limitations of the 5 basic human systems. So the main goal of all inhabitants of ancient civilizations was to reach or return to the personification of Godhead, or Arisha, the two. In essence, to obtain knowledge of self, basically. Ultimately, knowledge of self is the realization of unity in multiplicity, and multiplicity in the unity of the universe. So in the ancient traditions, Ra represented the unseen, represented the unseen, primeval, cosmic, creative forces of the seen, manifested physical reality. So that goes back to Abraham, Stacey Abrams. The knowledge of self is the realization of unity in the multiplicity, and multiplicity in the unity of universe. So when we connect that Ra energy, the primeval, cosmic, creative force energy that's on high, that exalted realm, then manipulates the energy properly and formulates the physical reality to what it should be. And one of the other symbols of Ra is, of course, the circle with the dot in it. So that circle, circle, dot, dot, dot. So the circle with the dot or point in the center, it represents symbolically the solar deity we call the sun, but it also represents both ends of the alchemical spiritual path, where the center equals the cause or nothingness, the immature reality, the metaphysical reality, and the diameter or the circumference outside of it, it equals the effect. It's the manifestation, the material, the physical seen reality. So, and this also is a mirror from the cosmic nature of the sun into the biological animal human nature of the collective by way of the molecular atomic cellular organization of life on the planetary level when pertaining to the image and the function of the cell, meaning the inner nucleus of the cell where the DNA resides, sends out as well as receives the information, and then the knowledge of self or the cell, knowledge of cell or the soul, the light, the information, the Spirit of God is able to express itself externally as well. So that circle, and then the dot within it, the point, you know what I'm saying? What is the point? That point is a vortex where it also relates to the cellular organization of life on the planetary level, from the cosmic nature as it trickles down into the environmental nature by way of fire, air, water, and earth, and then goes into the animal nature, where we have the animals floating around, you know what I'm saying, doing what they do, and then it flows over into the ancestral nature as we breathe in the intelligence, and you know, animals can come back as animals as well, but all that's flowing down into the human nature in biology, or as far as cosmically or cosmogony and cosmology is concerned, as well as astrology, as it flows down through those cosmic energies, it goes into inevitably or imminently it flows into the inner nucleus to DNA, basically, or to the cell. And it, as the old expression in mystical systems is, what is empty is full, and what is full is empty. So they say, as we know, 99.9999% of, you know, DNA is junk DNA is what they say. So that emptiness or whatever is now being full with light. That darkness, so to speak, is being full with light so that the DNA can wake up. You know, it's like an alarm clock. It's the sun hitting that dark side and saying, okay, here I, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's to achieve the state of unification where one has obtained success or found the purpose of knowledge the way, or the purpose by way of knowledge of self, we must put the pieces back together, and that's like yoga, you know what I'm saying? To tie back is basically the word religion, the Gar Latin for to tie and read back, so to tie back or yoke, so that's yoga, Timitwadi, you know what I'm saying? The unification of the two lands. So to accomplish this goal, we must study, know, and then realize through application as well as experience of, you know, becoming the essence of creation, namely by way of the reconciliation of dualism of the two parts. So there are numerous of accounts of that we know is polarized state, like man and woman, odd, even, negative, positive, up and down, hot, cold, fire, water. You know, yes, no, all these represent polarities or dualities. Each pair is different, yet they are the basic same principle within that polar state. In each respect, or in each aspect, they respect and participate with that same nature of unity as well as duality. So we got a light switch with on and off. It's still a light switch, you know. So we got a temperature gauge or a thermometer with hot and cold on it. That's two gauges. Is still a thermometer. You know, we have energies or elements in the environment like fire and water or air and earth. There's still elements within, you know what I'm saying? So those polarities or those different energies that may oppose each other actually correspond and complement each other as well. All right, so the principle of duality is also uncovered in our perception of the universe. So as we view the universe, we see the physical, and then we see that the senses, as far as we can look at the galaxy, the solar systems, the stars, comets, meteors, and all that, so on and so on, and we notice that that's the physical reality. But also we see the metaphysical, like such as dark energy and dark matter, that we may not be attuned to because it doesn't exist in our visual, but it is there, and it is because it may be like outside of the frequency of what we can see, you know what I'm saying, or touch or smell or whatever, but those frequencies are still there, they're just at a high vibration. There is no true separation between the metaphysical state and the physical state. They both coincide together. You can't have one without the other. But seeing the matter as it's formed into the energy or condensed or coagulated, like we were saying earlier, that's basically what we see. We see matter on this, the third dimension or the third density. We see the densest form of energy, which would be matter. So in this matrix of energy that resides within all of the universe or whatever, it's still organized into what is called a theophany. Theophany, Theophany, is basically creation on the step down. So when creation takes place by the consciousness, it absorbs the level above it. So each time something is created, it absorbs the level that was there above it, so that it can maintain and also harmonize that level below it. Basically, if you're looking at the tree of life, you know what I'm saying, or the Pythagorean says, you have all these different spheres or ciphers that rise. So if we have Osiris at the top, and we have Malkuth at the bottom, which will be the manifestation, and Osiris will be the creative force. The manifestation, when it moves up to the side, or I said the seat, or your side being the foundation, it's going to absorb the manifestation so it can maintain the manifestation by way of the energy of Ra that's at the top. So a theophany is basically, again, creation by the consciousness of the level of energy above it. So each time creation takes place, the consciousness of the level above it is going to mediate and bring up the level below it. And when we meditate, or we self-contemplate or meditate on each stage in its absorption, it brings into an awareness within ourselves. So like with that tree of life thing, you go through a meditation on each sphere or each sector, you know what I'm saying? And it brings into one's being the awareness of who and what the last state was, or that last one. It harmonizes within oneself the true inheritance of what they're capable of. Basically, it's unifying, by way of power words or just meditating on that symbol and that, the attributes within that symbol to bring about the exchange of energy within the DNA through powerful words and symbols, as well as colors. There's all types of stuff inside of that traditional meditation, as well as guided meditation and mindful, because it's all three aspects within that process. You know what I'm saying? So when those hierarchy of energies are set into a mode of deep interface, you know what I'm saying, by way of natural laws, both physical and metaphysical, then the purpose of life, or our soul intention, or our soul assignment, is able to come forth and then show itself, or show its true light. And so this grand unification, or the state of the union, the lower self and the higher self, to occur, one must progress in the reverse sequence of creation. So in essence, the soul's progress on this path is an upward movement from the sphere of the separated, manifested, created world being Gail or Maku, and then reassembling all the pieces of that great puzzle into one unit again, or what we call the point of singularity, the cosmos. And this is the thing that permeates most, and if not all, ancient present mystical systems. The symbolic tying or uniting of the opposing forces, or the heroes gemios, sacred marriage, semitwai, the uniting of the two lands, at the merging, is now balanced. So those two lands are now balanced. The polarities become one. And when these opposites are reconciled through intellectual and intuition, the indivisible dual self becomes complete. Union is 2 and 8. You know what I'm saying? So this month of purification, 2 and 8, so one becomes complete, transcends the boundaries of the ordinary human life, and then acquires an immense amount of potential energy and life force that corresponds to obtaining one's life purpose and succeeding in finding happiness and completing their soul assignment. All right, because basically, what is success? Success is accomplishing a goal and completing something. So when those aspects are put together, those two aspects of higher and lower self, one obtains their life purpose, because one of the main things of our ancient editions, brothers and sisters, one of the main things was to reconcile lower and higher self to obtain their true nature or their Godhead, their Risha, you know, so the Netiru, from the high priest all the way to the mendicant panhandler on the side of the street. That was the main goal of our ancient brothers and sisters. So the mystical aspirant discovers that dual nature of a thing in that thing itself, and notices that the two are in essence one. And this is basically, again, the state of the union. That's all I got for you.
Yeah, that was plenty.
In a nutshell, you know,
right.
How I looked at it from a metaphysical perspective. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Let's see if we got any questions, Zach, before we head out. Let me see.
Great job, God.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, give thanks. Also, too, while Alim's looking for some questions, this is what I made
for
Brother Jose. Ain't that fat?
Yeah.
That's a one-of-a-kind
piece. That's nice right there.
I'm just going to see if it's long enough on your wrist, God.
You better get it.
It's a custom-made jump. Okay. Probably got to do just the fasteners. Yeah. Isn't that hot? It's hot. So this is a Hawkeye, and then these are hematite. Yeah. And then it's got that copper vibration. Who the God gonna love this?
Well, so Brother Yoel, he said that moving meditation is good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want to speak on that moving meditation act?
I was hoping we could do that on Thursday. Well, we want to say thank you so much for the super chat. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Good. But yeah, moving meditation is equivalent to basically qigong. You know, so we when we perform that or demonstrate and participate with that, what's happening in moving meditation is the mind is mindful. Of course, we're mindful of our actions, but it also develops different arenas of connectivity within the fascia. So the fascia being the threads that hold the physical body together. In that moving meditation or qigong, what takes place is basically it's different aspects of qigong. You have scholarly qigongs, you have medicinal type of qigong,
right? Medical qigong.
You have martial qigongs, and you have enlightenment type of qigong or neigong. So with the martial, it's harder. we're going to tighten up the fascia a little bit more so. Might even hold something in the grips of the hand. Some people do, you know, men might put a brick or wrap around the testicles. Mm-hmm. Women might tie stones around their breasts, you know what I'm saying? But this enhances the strength of the physical fascia, but also enhances the lungs of the woman and also the gonads or the testicles and semen productivity of the male by hanging these stones from the testicles. That's just one aspect of a harder form of qigong and moving meditation. Then we would go into this, like the medicinal side of it, removing the energy within the body and the fascia, which is connected to and forms all the tissue. So we go from, you know, muscle, tendons, and ligaments into the organ system. So the organ system is going to get enhanced and also going to help purge or purify different blockages that may appear in the body. Say, for instance, if someone has a blockage in the gallbladder region and they wondering why they got, you know, hip pains or whatnot, because the meridian system of the gallbladder resides within the left and right side of the hip. So someone may get some pains in the hips or in the knee or something, and they might not represent it as or see it as a problem in their gallbladder, but if they just doing the exercise that's generating energy into the gallbladder, say for instance, one of the symmetry or one of the qigongs that you raise one hand above the head and one is like right below. The left hand will be above the head and the right hand will be right there at the waist, and you press down with the hand going up, and press down with the left hand, up with the left hand and down with the right hand. So moving that energy right there and having the knowledge, knowledge is basically is key, of course, and then moving that energy because that's the application. Knowing is half the battle. So knowing, then actually moving it will alleviate the blockage in that gallbladder region, because the gallbladder is right there located on the right hand side above the liver. So when you pressing down and breathing out excess toxicity like carbon dioxide, lactic acid, uric acid, or maybe even calcium, the excess of calcium. It could be anything that's in the body causing those pains. And then by putting the good elements in and, being consistent, it eventually could alleviate those issues. I know from experience, I speak from experience, in all things, so in the healing aspect, I've learned that, like you said, moving meditation is very powerful. It can alleviate certain issues, but it also strengthens and prevents things from happening as well by staying in concert or being utilizing those modalities on a day-to-day. You know what I'm saying? I meditate. I try to meditate every day in one way, fashion, or form. If it's not just a sitting meditation, then it's going to be some qigong, tai chi. Yoga is very meditative. You know what I'm saying? Shit, sitting down eating for me is meditative. Dr. Alim must have went out to eat, a couple times, and you look at me like, "What you doing? How you praying?"
You were so quiet. You just chewing and quiet. He didn't like talking. He don't like talking. Yeah, he don't like talking while eating. Now ain't no conversation going on. You gotta wait. You gotta wait in between the chews or either afterwards.
You're right. Too. I lose friends like that too. One of my people, he said, "I don't know how you got friends being a vegan, but not just being a vegan, but the way you right. The way I eat is very mindful. It's very meditative. It helps with digestion.
Exactly.
By not taking So it's something that we was taught by grandmas. Grandmas were like, chew your food, stop talking.
Right. Exactly.
We've evolved into who we are now, or who we think we are, and our personality traits that we have come accustomed to. Some of the things we do are not necessarily.
But see the thing about being a vegan is that you ain't got to worry about having mud butt.
I don't know. I ain't gonna say much, but I do evacuate pretty good, though. That should be coming out.
Exactly.
So I don't never miss it.
You know what I'm saying? You know?
You're right, though.
Yeah,
out pretty good, I actualize a lot, but I do put harder foods on there, like, you know, beans and things like that, but it has soluble and insoluble fiber in there to help bring about the bulk in my food, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it ain't too watery, you know. But it's a like I have to say, trial and error, learning from different things and experience, and you know, what don't kill you, come back and get us tomorrow. Now, what don't kill us will make us stronger. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I look at it like, you know, a learning experience on certain things.
Yeah. We want to give a shout out to
Alpha Omega. Brother
No
Stray, thank you so much. Everybody who super chatted today, thank you so much.
Miss Lee, thank you for the super chat once again.
They have 5 on.
That's right. And you know we're gonna buy some seeds. Right? That's right. We ain't gonna smoke no weed, but we're gonna buy some seeds. We got some land and we got to plant, goddamn. We got to plant.
Okay.
All right.
Also, too, we want to just make sure that everybody is getting and reserving their space for the cruise.
Hold on. Before we even get to the cruise.
Okay.
Next month.
Okay.
We need to see y'all in the place to be. That's right here in Henderson, North Carolina. We need to see you at 133 South Garnett Street. All right. That's Juice and More. We will be open. Also, we need to see you for the March 22nd, 23rd, and 24th event, our conference, Healing Wings, United Washington, Deduct Demunya. This is a collaboration in which that we will be dealing with the science of health as well as also with the science of law. So you definitely don't want to miss either one of those events. All right. So come on down, check us out. You need more info, give us a call at 910-364-9099. That's 910-364-9099. Or hit us up, email, that's Royal House, ROYAL, House, HOUSE, 777 at gmail. All right, .com.
Brother Elohee also has a YouTube page. Tell him your YouTube page, God.
Elohee?
We must have done lost him. But it's
part stuff. I'm right here.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay.
I had some cud right there.
okay.
Yeah. Basically, email. Talking about YouTube. It's Black Water. That's BLAK Water. The Metamagician. META-MAGI-SHEN. Black Water Metamagician.
Well, y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe. Also, too, family, we forgot to do the affirmation that we always do together.
We ain't gonna forget tonight. But also, we got in May coming up.
Okay.
So this is March. And then 2 months later, May, we will be going to the Adams County, Ohio Mounds. It is the Serpent Mound. All right. We will be going to the Serpent Mounds. All right. You definitely want to keep in contact with that. We will have more information on our calendar of events on dralim.com. And then September. Come on. All right.
We're going to cruise with you.
Yeah.
We're excited about that. And we will be stopping at all the pyramids and the mounds that we can see so we can do our rituals together on them and enhance our DNA and our melanin. I am so excited about this. The more people that come, then the cheaper it is for everybody.
Look, we're hitting up Honduras. Mm-hmm. We're hitting up Mexico.
Okay.
All right.
Cozumel.
Right. Cozumel, Porto, Costa Maya, ruins, pyramids.
Together, y'all.
Right? We're hitting up Coba. Ain't gonna be climbing the pyramids.
Oh, we going to that underwater pyramid.
Well, we might go to that one. That one is a replica. You know what I'm saying? So they put it there. It ain't, you know.
Y'all, that's fat though.
Yeah, it was fat to think about.
But
that
it's in conflict with the one where you climb the pyramid and then go to the beach.
Right. We still debating on that one. But don't worry, we'll get it straight by then. But these are definitely some of the pyramids. And matter of fact, at one of the pyramid sites, we're talking about over 200 mounds and pyramids.
Is that just one of them?
All right, this is at just one. All right, we also thought about going to Chichen Itza. We haven't been to Chichen Itza. My wife and I went in 2007. Was the last, so that's 12 years ago, the last time that we went to Chichen Itza. All right, is a joke called chicken and pizza. No, it's not chicken and pizza.
That's disrespect. That's what it is.
Right. It's not chicken and pizza. You know, it's Chichen Itza. All right, but anyway, so that is going to be September the 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, what is it? Yeah. 31st, no, 30th, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and be coming on the 5th. So it's 7 days. 7 days cruise.
Okay.
All right, 7 days.
Yeah, we want to do that. We want to do that. All right, so continuing now.
Continuing now for days, weeks, months, and years to come. We are moving towards our most cherished goals of health, wealth, knowledge of ourselves,
enlightenment, and happiness, and full contentment.
Full contentment. Every action, enterprise, and endeavor which we wish to be involved is bringing increasing rewards. We have so much abundance and success in our life that we're able to help and share with those who are sincere along the way. We're moving closer toward the oneness of God and Goddess and the full release of our higher selves. Peace. We out, y'all. Peace, fam. We love you.
Peace, God.
God, did you want to say anything else?
Oh, just peace. Salute.
Salute.